In this video, we will discuss the usability and effectiveness of web accessibility overlays. Now, you may be wondering, what is an overlay? An overlay is a short snippet of code that claims it makes a website legally compliant with accessibility laws and usable by people with disabilities. These disabilities can include visual impairments, hearing difficulties, decreased motor function, and many more. How do they work in practice? That's what this video will showcase. You may see an overlay that looks like this. Notice the large orange window in the middle of the screen. Or this. Notice the teal widget that has opened up options to the left of the screen. Or a call to action like this, where it says press enter for accessibility for blind people. Here's what to expect. We will showcase the lived experience of a blind woman navigating different public websites with and without the use of overlays. Discuss the shortcomings of overlays in making websites universally accessible, dive into the privacy concerns of using overlays, explore the ways overlays fall short on poorly designed websites. Hello, my name is Marty Malloy, president of Tamin. I am a short-haired, cropped gentleman wearing a blue button-down shirt that is open at the collar to convey a more relaxed look, because this is a relaxed video. It's a relaxed video, but it's about an important topic, and that topic today is overlays. I am here with my friend and colleague, Kristen Waitucky. Hi, Kristen, how are you?
Hi, thanks for having me in Philadelphia.
Yay!
Great to be here.
We're in the office together.
Here.
This has never happened before,
No.
so it's pretty great. Can you tell the folks who might have visual impairments a little bit about you and what you look like?
Sure, I'm a Caucasian woman, I'm blind, I have the similar button-down, semi-relaxed look, and
Totally
I have
relaxed.
long hair, and yeah, that's it. It's Friday.
And it's Friday, and we're recording. So we're going to be talking about overlays. This is a topic that Tamin has certainly talked internally about. We've written a little bit about it over the course of the last several years as overlays have become more and more popular in the consumer marketplace for websites. But we realized that there was a gap. There was a gap in awareness, and there was a gap in showing people and demonstrating what it's like for people who are blind to navigate the internet and navigate websites that have and use overlays. This is not a legal video. We're not giving any kind of legal advice, and we're not even going to really touch on the marketing of these overlay companies. We really want this to be in the true Tamin spirit of accessing information and making that information accessible to all. Just an awareness building video. No agenda here.
I think it's interesting, overlays really create a separation, so this video does a lot to bridge us together.
Absolutely, and so those things that we might find that are helpful, we'll call those out. Those things that we might find that are not helpful, we'll call some of those out and talk through that process. Kristen, can you tell us a little bit about what overlays are for someone who's watching this video and they have no idea what we're talking about yet?
Yeah, so they're basically a little plugin. They're super easy to install, and they're very easy to activate. They're designed to make websites accessible to people with disabilities. They basically come in the form of a menu that allows accessibility options to edit the web page or the entire site in various ways. So some of these include changing the font, the color, the contrast settings, enlarging the mouse cursor, or stopping looping video autoplay. And you can usually identify them by the little Vitruvian man style person in a circle, and sometimes located in the corner of the website.
Yeah.
And they basically claim to offer total accessibility compliance with one line of code. It's a quick and easy fix, but the reality is a lot more nuanced. It's filled with a lot of different experiences.
And before we get to the demo, let's talk for just a second about what your general experience has been with overlays as a blind woman navigating the internet.
So, to me, they literally make me think of the separate but equal education that was popular a long time ago, and is now coming back. So it's like offering a separate but quote unquote equal website experience. But sometimes I'll just go on a website that has the overlay. I will skip the little overlay menu, and I'm able to use the website. Maybe it's not perfectly accessible, but a lot of times the website is probably closer to accessible than it realizes, or the screen reader can handle a lot more than it used to be able to.
Yeah.
But when you activate an overlay, it kind of it puts the whole website in a little bit of a shift, and sometimes that can mean moving things around, which from a screen reader point of view is sometimes quite disorienting. It's like
You've created a workaround for all of the sites, the majority of sites that are not fully accessible, and now, perhaps with good intentions, these overlays come in place and they get in your way. That's the first point that you brought up, which I think is really important. The second point that you brought up is the fact that, hey, screen readers and some of this native assist tech, we're going to be working with JAWS today as a screen reader, that's yours. But whether it's VoiceOver on Mac OS or NVDA, they're getting better all the time.
Yeah.
And so the overlays then also create a perhaps unintentional disorientation, I think is a good way to do it. All right, well, with all that sort of prelude done, let's go ahead and get to the demo. So Kristen, we're going to do a demo. You're going to do a demo of a website. But before we get to that, that's using an overlay. Before we get to that, can you describe for folks who might not be familiar with someone who is blind navigating the internet, what sort of tools are you using? What's in front of you right now?
To the left, I have a Braille display. It's a Braille note taker. It can be connected to the computer, but it's not right now.
And you were using that
I was using that
earlier.
to read some of the points and that overlays.
Excellent.
And then this is just a regular laptop. It has Windows 10. It has a screen reader called JAWS for Windows, which has been around, I would say, at least 25 years. And you may think this is fast, but it's actually slow. Like, we have a colleague who listens to this much faster. So.
Yes, so no judgment.
No,
This is a no judgment zone.
No.
But we haven't slowed it down. Like, this is your setup ordinarily. The first site that we're going to go to is using an overlay. It's a national toy company, and they're using this particular overlay widget. But can you navigate yourself to the site first, and then before we engage the widget, let's just see what the situation is on the site.
Yeah, so this, I'm already here, but it's a site called Fat Brain Toys. Sounds kind of cool for a mom. I have 3 kids. And when I use the site by itself, which I usually like to try to do anyway, so one thing that JAWS, the screen reader, is very good at is identifying every single possible part of a website so that people can choose how they want to interact with it.
Well, let's experience this. So you just mentioned you're a mom with 3 kids, and a typical thing that you might be doing is buying toys for your kids, and another typical thing that you might be doing is traveling with those kids. So one of the big categories that is on this website are travel toys. Without engaging the overlay yet, can you navigate to where that is and tell us what that experience is like? And you're just moving through the...
Yeah.
That's a
So
lot
it's
of
a lot of
dollar
headings.
stuff. I mean,
and it's probably too many headings. Actually.
Yeah.
So if I go,
especially because this is one of their major categories.
Yeah. Well.
Shop by category heading level 2.
Okay. Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
So now instead of just doing heading, I did like level 2 headings.
Montessori toys heading level. What our customers have to say heading level 2. Montessori shop by Fat Brain collection heading level 2. Shop by category heading level 2.
Okay, then level
Travel toys heading level 2.
Okay, all right. So they did mark these headings up pretty well, actually. It's just they kind of overheaded, but the hierarchy of headings seems okay. So I could find travel with level 3.
And it's so important for any designers, developers that are working on websites. One of the easiest ways to make your site more accessible is just pay attention to the headings.
Yeah.
Don't overheading.
Don't.
Yeah, you don't need
don't
like headings
stick
on the
in-
money.
Right.
I mean,
Let's make sure that we're doing this in a way that is structurally correct. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we engage the overlay now? So
Yeah,
as
that's
if we're going right back to the homepage.
Okay, so here's the title of the site, and then right under the title is accessibility. Screen Reader Guide, feedback, and issue reporting, which just doesn't make me feel very good. That's first. I cleared my browsing. Well, I disabled it again. I cleared my browsing data and came back.
And
it
came back
still,
in incognito mode.
Yeah, and it still knows.
It still knows.
And I'm like,
you,
what does it know?
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit unsettling for people that have, privacy concerns, as I think many people do.
Yeah.
And so, if you could, really quickly, what was that first setup process like? I mean, it was you told me that it was really cumbersome.
Yeah, it just kind of loads every single possible setting. Okay, so it does have profiles for different types of disabilities, which is good. It
ADHD, cognitive keyboard navigation, left blind user, left there, screen mirror, right there, optimize website for screen dash mirrors. This profile adjusts the website to be compatible with screen dash mirrors such as JAWS, NVDA, VoiceOver, and TalkBack. The screen dash mirror is software that is installed on the blind user's computer and smartphone, and websites should ensure compatibility with it. No code. This profile runs automatically. The screen dash mirrors toggle button pressed.
okay, so that's already selected for me. It has
Because it
because I
detected
already,
and
it found the screen
remembered
reader,
it, yeah.
and then I enabled it. So I basically gave it permission to know that. And then it goes, just shows text magnifier, all these color options. So there's not really a way for me to
It's lumping
hide them.
all visual impairments together, even though none of those things are needed or accurate for you.
Yeah,
Interesting.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
okay, something you out here, or try at least something. Okay, so I can close that interface, and
Get exclusive deals and welcome to Fat Grade Toys, the internet's favorite toy store, heading level 6. Fat Grade Collection, heading level 2 link. Word Farm, heading level $19, Trestle Tracks,
alright, so once again, it's kind of overheaded, but,
Shop by category,
So it didn't change,
anything.
in terms of the actual frustration for you on this site.
No.
Yeah, because your screen reader was doing everything already,
Yeah.
and it didn't fix what is probably the most important thing to do, which is organize the site so that someone can buy what they want to buy, which I think is really, really fascinating. If you went to a site and you had to go through the overlay settings setup again for something like toys, where there are lots of options toys, would you have done that if it's not for this experiment?
Oh, no, because there's so many toy stores, that I would just kind of move on. They all have the same things, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, let's take a break right here. Let's load up another website, maybe one you haven't been to before, and we'll come right back and take a look at something completely different with a different overlay.
Sounds great.
Good. So here we are on this site for sure. So tell me what you're experiencing.
This website includes an accessibility system. Press Control Dash F11 to adjust the website to the visually impaired while using a screen mirror semicolon.
Okay.
Natural reaction you've never been before. Why did you go?
Please don't this website includes an accessibility system. Press Control Dash F11 to adjust the website to the visually impaired while using a screen mirror semicolon.
Okay, to adjust the website to the visually impaired. I guess it's just grammatically gross, but I really.
You are a teacher after all.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
But I guess it just implies that we're not the same.
This is back to the sort of separate but equal feeling that you have.
So it says Control F11.
Okay.
Should I do that now, or do you want to try the site without it first?
Let's try the site without it first, like we did the last one. So what I wanted you to do here was that this is both an online and a brick and mortar store that sells appliances and electronics and TVs and things like that. Let's just say you saw something, but you want to go into the store. Could you find the address for Plussers if you wanted to go into the store?
Okay, there are no headings.
There are no headings on this page. That is a problem, as you said with JAWS. It needs you navigate using headings.
Yeah.
List of items, link about us, link brands, link category, link terms, and link link bomb, link charity, list edit, visit link graphic Plussers appliances in order by phone, calls, link 1.877 point search box icon, search box, go button, list of 15, link graphic.
And so right now, you're just essentially
using arrows,
keyboarding through. if you were to do this, you previously with JAWS, there's a search function with JAWS.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and give that a try? Too?
Yeah, we can do that.
Virtual find JDDESS enter. Subscribe to our mailing list and required email address. Subscribe to Blizzard's appliances at link 60. Virtual finder. Right at the top. Subscribe to our mailing list and subscribe.
Okay, so address doesn't work. I could go to the bottom of the screen and see if we can find it there.
Page down. Copyright 2023 Blizzard. All rights reserved. Link 60 Vegas T Babylon Village by 11702.
Okay.
You finally found it there.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, again, we just learned that headings matter. We learned that labels matter. Like address could be something that could be searchable and helpful there, especially for a brick and mortar store.
And it's also a little unpredictable to just depend on the search for that because it could say contact us or it would just go right into the street address. So that's not really the easiest way to search.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's engage the overlay. Let's see if the overlay makes things more helpful in this case.
Data devices. Kitchen devices. VerticalMarkBlizzard.com. Control F11.
Okay. It said press Control
The option is not
F11.
available on this website. Please don't call this website includes an accessibility system. Press Control F11 to adjust the website individually. If there's not using a screen, press Control F10 to open an accessibility menu. The option is not available on this website.
So
So
it says the option is not
not
available on this website.
Even though I just said it was available.
So let's go ahead and engage the overlay and see what that does.
Let's try it.
Control F11. Alert, the option is not available on this website. Please don't call this website includes an accessibility system. Press Control F11 to adjust the website individually. If there's not using a screen,
It says the option is not available on this website, but then it says please press the option.
And then, maybe that's a mistake. Let's try that again. Why would the option not be available? It's saying that basically someone who is blind can't buy appliances.
Appliances?
Let's try that again.
Remember, it's always Blizzard. The option is not available on this website.
Okay, so yeah, the option is not available on this website.
Is
Press
there?
Control F10 to open an accessibility menu.
But it still says, you can
Open
press
the- yeah.
accessibility menu.
Let's
So,
try it one more time. Let's try to
Yeah.
open up the accessibility menu.
So Control F11 was what did the screen reading part, and I guess that's the thing that's not available.
Control F11.
And then Control nothing, and then Control F10 is what opens the accessibility menu, and I guess that will.
Control F10. Accessibility menu dialog. Accessibility button. Expand menu. Expand the accessibility menu. Hide accessibility button. Choose the time period to hide the accessibility button.
Okay.
Accessibility.
So they have some things available, some things not available.
Yeah, so I guess they paid for a basic package of this overlay, or got the free version. They got the lesser version.
So can I ask you an honest question?
Yes.
Do you have a stove, refrigerator in your home? Do you use appliances as something? Were you able to
Yeah.
purchase those previously? At some point?
I mean, the house came with them. We had to purchase a washer and a dryer,
Oh,
which
yeah.
was
these are things that you hopefully use in modern life.
I mean,
So I'm looking at the site, and the screenshot here will show the same things. It doesn't look like there's anything that could benefit you as a blind woman that I can jump to. I mean, whether the text is magnified or not does not seem to affect you.
yeah.
Virtual keyboard certainly doesn't help either, I would imagine. So maybe we should find another site. This one's beyond the purview of this video for right now, and I think we've done enough. And so you're looking for a gift now for a watch for a friend.
For somebody who
presumably.
would
Yeah.
want to watch.
Link graphic available. No. Rate graphic. Rate graphic. Rate graphic. Rate graphic.
So yeah, I don't even know what what each thing is.
Yeah, sure. So
it could be a watch, it could be eyewear, it could be whatever.
what is
site
so? What is?
sells.
I can't understand your screen reader. What is it saying to you right
Rate
now?
graphic. Rate graphic. Link plus 4.
Yeah, I don't understand it either.
Rate graphic. Rate graphic. No.
So is it? So it's possible that their alt text
Gala Gold. Yeah, I think their alt text is
also
needs some love.
lacking. Okay, well then let's go back. Let's engage the overlay. Maybe the overlay will help with some of this.
Accessibility. List of free item presenter for accessibility for blind people. Use screen readers. Alt plus D button.
As I can see, not you can see, there is a button, a label. I don't really know what to say, but it's press enter for accessibility for blind people. So it's clear that you've engaged some specific
Presenter for people. Navigation.
profile.
Alt plus L button. Presenter for accessibility menu button. List X.
Okay, but when I did it, it didn't really say that. So
Oh, interesting. What did it say for you?
Nothing until I started moving around. But
I see.
Same page links to the main content. List box. Top search terms. Heading level. Top products. Top search terms.
okay,
Heading
it
level.
didn't.
Top search terms. Heading top products. Link graphic. No. Minimal sport. Automatic graphic. Minimal sport. Automatic graphic. Minimal sport. Automatic graphic. Minimal sport. Automatic vertical. Power 45.5 mm. Link reforged.
So it sounds to me, Kristen, that
Yeah.
it's giving you a lot of jargon around that. Again,
Yeah.
the alt text still stinks.
Yeah.
Or
It
at least
didn't
makes
really
it so that
improve anything.
it doesn't really allow you to navigate around. And what other changes did it make for you in terms of this experience with the overlay? Which is, I mean, so we're just exploring these things. We're just trying to build awareness. We're not calling out any specific overlays. But as folks can see, it's not helping. The problems on the site remain the problems on the site. For you to do a simple task of identifying and finding a watch that you might want to buy for a friend.
Yeah. Good thing I don't really buy my friends watches.
Indeed. And, you know, in fairness to the company, maybe they're saying, you know, there aren't going to be a lot of folks who are
People
blind
buying
our watches, and so they're making some choices. Well, let's go to one more site using a different overlay altogether, and let's see if that is any better. Okay. So why don't you try, if you would, this is one, it's a famous yogurt company that we've talked about before. It's Chobani. Why don't you go to Chobani and see what they've got going on?
Chobani register. Products. Link recipes. Where to buy button. Visit link Chobani homepage. Link about. Link impact. Link login. Unlabeled zero button. Unlabeled
So
zero
right now you're navigating, you're getting a lay of the land.
Yeah, there's no overlay that I can tell.
Without
from
an
here.
overlay. Okay, let's keep going.
Demographic.
But there are unlabeled buttons, there's a banner that's not described.
Chobani register. Coffee creeper. Learn more button. Unlabeled graphic graphic. Unlabeled graphic graphic 1940
So it could...
Unlabeled graphic graphic 1940 D 30 70 C 17 63 F
So it's reading the code of the graphic.
Underline 50s lost.
Oh Lord, that's awful.
Yeah.
And so for those, if we don't bring the screen up, it is you're on Chobani oat milk currently.
Okay.
Did you know that?
It said 52 ounces. I managed to get that out of the...
Unlabeled graphic graphic 1940 D 30 70 C 17 63
You can hear your screen just say unlabeled, unlabeled.
50s lost.
All I really got was 52 ounces. This is quite a storm.
It is. We're having quite a storm on this. It's a storm of bad UX and a storm of rain all at the same time. Okay.
Okay, so it's not... A lot of them have been at the top, but clearly this one isn't.
Well, I found that some of these are buried in their accessibility statement. So maybe try a search for their accessibility
Virtual
statement.
find ACCESSIIL ID by enter. Type something dot 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 edit. Escape fruit separator. Virtual find enter. Wrap at the top link accessibility statement.
And
Okay,
there's
there it
the
is.
activation, right? Yeah, so we finally get the activation. You had to scroll quite a bit and listen to everything else. Their promises about inclusive for all users, which we know, again, as we've said, good intentions, right? I mean, I think I'm going to give them, without a doubt, the benefit of the doubt. Their intentions are right.
Yeah.
It's just their execution is just so far off.
Yeah.
Why don't you activate it, and then let's head back and see if we can, I don't know, buy a 52-ounce oat milk.
Edit level 3
And I can tell you that Vitruvian man icon has now appeared,
Okay.
when it wasn't there before, in the lower right hand
Products.
of
Link
the
recipes. Where to buy button.
site.
Visit link Chicago and example link about.
Okay, still no heading.
Link impact. Link login. Unlabeled banner. Learn more button.
Still no
Unlabeled
headings,
button.
just
Register flower. Type something dot. Link edit. Unlabeled graphic graphic. Unlabeled graphic. Unlabeled graphic graphic 1940 D 30 F 70 C 17 63 F 136 C F 45 F 2 slash underline 50s lost.
Alright, so it's still...
You cheated! You got to the 52 part and you said that's where it's gonna be!
Yeah.
That's
but
great.
it still reads the same, like, I still don't know
Nothing
any
has
more
changed.
about it than
Yeah.
I did the first time.
But it wouldn't have done anything. It would have
Yeah.
been completely performative, as we've seen.
Yeah.
And I think Chobani wants you as a customer, without a doubt. You're a family of 5 with growing kids. You want the protein and the yogurt, and these are healthy choices that you might want to make. You know, an otherwise, well-intentioned company, but got, I would say, suckered by paying for something that, in your particular instance, in this one specific instance, has no effect on your ability to find an item and purchase it.
Yeah, or even find the widget to begin with.
Or even find the widget to begin with. So I think this is great. I think what we're finding is, and let's kind of wrap things up and go to our conclusion, of which there are several. Inconsistency of application. Bad UX, you can't fix bad user experience design. If it's bad, like with headings,
or poor alt text or labels. It's just bad.
Yeah, the widget will not.
There's nothing that the widget or the overlay will do. The sites themselves sometimes are just better by allowing you to use your existing assistive tech, your JAWS, what have you, to be able to navigate and fight through like you do every day as you are navigating the internet. Do those sound about right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Kristen, I can't thank you enough.
Well, thank you.
For building some awareness. I hope folks get a chance to understand that, we want to make information, and these are all consumer sites, so services to consumers as easy as possible. And you just sometimes have to take those intentions and take the route of proper process and not fall into the siren song of, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is.
There are definitely ways to prioritize your fixes. Like if you can't get everything fixed all at once, there are ways for actual experts to come in, evaluate what needs to be done most urgently, less urgently, and the code just can't do that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you, Kristen. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back with more awareness building videos in the future. Take care.
To summarize what we went over in this video, each of the overlays we used failed to back up their claims of making a website fully legally compliant and accommodating Kristen's accessibility needs. When digital accessibility isn't prioritized on your website, it can easily cause a business to lose potential customers like Kristen. Overlays present a gray area in web privacy. They track accessibility settings across websites, even in incognito mode or after browser history is cleared. A one-size-fits-all or tacked-on approach to web accessibility is ineffective at best and mostly performative. Confused about where to start? Reach out to us at hello@tamaninc.com.